Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Weaving Web3. I'm here with Daniel from this partner of the Celo Foundation, and we are here to talk about why this amazing technology is going to be changing the future and how it makes it great. So, would you be able to give us a little more intro
On Celo.
Yes.
Yeah, happy to. So Celo is a layer one chain designed for adoption and kind of like designed to solve some of those historical issues that crypto has in terms of user experience. So we have been around for about 4 years. Before this part of the context is important. Before Ethereum became proof of stake. So back in 2017, 2018, where transactions got really high, you all wanted crypto to solve a bunch of real world issues that basically Ethereum was not solving, Bitcoin was not solving. So that's where Celo was created as the first proof of the stake, a one chain, a fork of Ethereum in practical terms, designed with a few specific features. So one of those was it was proof of the stake chain. It had very affordable transactions, fast transactions, one block finality, and those features now seem pretty normal.
Yeah.
A bunch of chains have those, but on top of that, Celo had a few things that made it kind of like really important, a really important piece of technology for especially a global south trying to use crypto. So things like you can pay your transaction fees using any other ERC20 token, not just the governance token. People pay transaction fees on Celo using the Celo token. But you can imagine use cases like I'm Colombian, so I could pay, for example, a transaction with Colombian peso, right? So that kind of like reduces the complexity of using the blockchain for many that are not.
Which is something really important, right? No, it's like, I think, like we had a conversation earlier, is where a lot of people going into crypto don't really understand that you have to pay with certain tokens, this and that, and it becomes completely confusing, and like abstracting that, let's say, that problem from normal users like we have in the traditional like system that we have now is what we need on the blockchain, not just because, oh, I'm going to pay in gas in this token and you have to have that, and then you're like, oh, well, I need to buy that token from an exchange first, and then you need to top up, which is all confusing, right? And you're just
very confused.
taking that away straight away.
Exactly. And if you add to that kind of like the level of risk people get into when they start using blockchain, then blockchain becomes really scary for many. So many of these features are trying to kind of like reduce that kind of like barrier to access and making it kind of like create a mental model of using blockchain that is easier to absorb. So on top of that, I guess the last few things are that on Celo we have a name service called Social Connect that similar to ENS maps public addresses to an identifier. It's just that in our case the identifiers are phone numbers. So you could imagine kind of like sending funds to people in your contact list. And that is another thing that reduces kind of like the complexity for folks that are not in crypto already. So basically, it can be as easy as sending money to a phone number rather than like a massive public address.
Which is significantly more simple because I could send, let's say, to Chris some money, but he doesn't have an account yet, but it is stored on his phone number. And then when he signs up to the app, you will have that money based on his phone number, right?
Which is that's kind of like the spirit of Celo. For this hackathon in particular, we brought a wallet called MiniPay that is native of the Mini browser. That's the Opera browser largely in Africa. That's an app that is basically what I just explained. It's a wallet that is a stable coin-based wallet. People pay transaction fees with, in this case, USD, which is one of the stable coins on Celo, and then they can send money into contacts in their contact list. And it's a very kind of like easy to use wallet to send and receive payments. And on top of that, we're hoping to get hackers interested in kind of like their growth because they do have a large number of users right now, and kind of like come up with ideas for real world use cases, consumer crypto, basically anything that like gets them to use crypto on an everyday basis. That's kind of like the pitch for hackers now.
Well, that's amazing because like I think that is that big problem of getting people onboarded because it's so complicated, seed phrases, and every single human on the planet has a mobile phone, and if you integrate something that everyone already has, there you go, you have your user base. But also, like, I think your vision, or if you could tell me a bit more about the vision of what you aim to solve, but like you're solving, let's say, like the payments in Africa, like I know there's fluctuations in different countries. I know Colombia also has like, is it hyperinflation? Yeah. So like having that ability on your phone and potentially preventing that is something that is going to transform millions of people's lives across the world.
Correct. So that is the initial kind of like premise behind something like MiniPay using an USD-pegged currency in places like Nigeria or Kenya. Basically a way to kind of like save funds from hyperinflation. Celo's mission is prosperity for all. So it's kind of like bringing all the kind of like really sweet use cases we are seeing in blockchain. Let's create new types of financial tools, but bringing those to those who don't have access to financial tools. That's kind of like very brief terms what we are about, and how we kind of like landed on the idea of focusing on the UX challenges that blockchain had, and that's still what is driving us. What is changing right now is that after Ethereum became proof of the stake, and actually with the latest hard fork and blobs being available, it is becoming possible for us to offer the same feature set as a layer 2 and therefore part of the Ethereum ecosystem, not a separate kind of like side chain L1. So we're hoping to do that. We're in the process of transitioning back into the Ethereum family as a layer 2.
So what kind of advantages would users get as being part of a layer 2 now?
Yeah. There's a few things that to me are very important. Maintaining layer 1 is expensive and hard work. So maintenance and kind of like staying current with the Ethereum roadmap will be easier. And with Ethereum, everything is composable, everything is modular, so that makes it easier for hackers or developers to basically use the same tools they are aware of. And then liquidity, right? In the Ethereum ecosystem, there is deeper liquidity, and that is a huge unblocker for hackers, for developers to build things,
and that driver of growth and that mass adoption. Absolutely,
that users. Then that's the third adoption, right? So yes, we bring a ton of users into the Ethereum ecosystem, but we also need users with the liquidity to kind of like start playing with this uses and programs that people are creating. And then there are also very few trade-offs. So, for example, any app on the Celo system should be able to exist without any changes once we become an L2. So that, I guess, we don't have to compromise on that. And we also are hoping to remain true to our values and therefore the feature set that I mentioned before. So transactions should remain really low, because if transactions go higher, a bunch of use cases are no longer.
Oh, absolutely. No one wants to be wasted, especially in countries that they may not be able to afford. Let's say 10 cents could be a lot of money to certain people. 10 cents so, in some places. So it's really important. Like, if someone who's never heard of you, what would you tell them is a benefit of joining your ecosystem? Why? What are the fundamentals that you believe would bring someone over to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I usually try to assess what type of builder they are, what they care about. And if they care about building a real business chain and having users that perhaps are not the regular kind of like crypto degen, then I told them that Celo's their chain, right? Like basically, this is a chain where you can have access to real users, you can solve a real problem, and there is enough tooling for you to create an application that actually can onboard users and be effectively used, right? If they want to create the next like crypto casino, that's perhaps I'm very upfront about that, and perhaps that's not the chain, because, like, for example, NFTs never took off on Celo like they did on other chains, right? So that's perhaps not the place where you want to build an NFT marketplace. You have the next NFT collection, because you won't have the liquidity, you won't have the users.
Yeah. And I don't think every single chain needs to have everything. You don't need the NFTs. You don't need like certain chain. I believe that the future is that we will have this multi-chain future where some chains are financial chains, some are user chain, and then at the end of the day, we can all just coexist together, and you can just move funds from different things. And I think in this modern world, we have so many different systems of financial and stuff. So why can't it be a decentralized way? And you're offering that user-friendly ability to real genuine communities, and those offering opportunities to people that never had a chance or could never be able to afford let's say the mainnets or other things, but they are able to exist on their own chain.
Yeah, exactly. If they are working, if they are hackers or developer teams from the global south, they come from Latam, like myself, or they come from Africa, Southeast Asia, if they already kind of like understand what crypto can do, what like something like USDC can do or USDT can do for that type of context, then I also have a space to tell them how Celo is a great place for kind of like their users and they kind of like the problems they are used to see and they think blockchain can solve. And actually USDC and USDT are kind of like coming on Celo. So it's like that's a great combo for them to think that, okay, I can have users, I can have on and off ramping, I can have a good set of tools to build whatever I want to build. So that usually does it for hackers that are really interested in like building something for their own context.
That's really inspirational. So I really appreciate you chatting as well. If there's anything else that you really want to get out to people.
Yeah. So especially for those who are building, since this is a hackathon, we have a whole year planned of really cool activities. As I said, I mentioned MiniPay. MiniPay is kind of like the centerpiece for the entire strategy for this year. So we have, this is ETH Global London, but we will be in all the IRL ETH Global hackathons this year. If folks are building something that is a real world use case or a consumer crypto app, they should definitely consider Celo and MiniPay. And on top of that, we have a series of 6 and 9 hackathons where we will be featuring MiniPay and a partner's technology. The one that is coming up is going to launch soon for April. Has a partner called Oles that is basically bringing AI into crypto with agents and ways for agents to interact with the blockchain. Mm-hmm. So that just creates even more opportunities for hackers to create user-friendly applications. And so 6 other hackathons to kind of like continue building. And then we have a couple of incubator programs also kind of like as plans. Our goal is to bring applications that basically can succeed on MiniPay, have real users, and basically get those users to use crypto on an everyday basis. So that's my invitation to keep building on Celo and MiniPay.
Well, there we go. There's many opportunities for people that wish to change the world and make it a better place like everyone else wants to do. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, guys.